Hello everyone, and welcome to our special awards show. I'm Heather Dawson.
And I'm Ron Jacobsohn, here to tell you all the latest about the award season.
I know, and now we are fresh off the SAG Awards. They are considered prestigious to actors because it's their peers who vote for them, and not an academy.
And it doesn't hurt that usually whoever wins a SAG Award goes on to win an Oscar too. So let's have a look at the SAG Awards that just happened the other night. The Shrine Auditorium was full of glamour, and everyone who was anyone in Hollywood was there to see and, more importantly, be seen. It was definitely a night to remember with several surprises. As expected, Slumdog Millionaire nabbed the Best Ensemble Cast Award, solidifying its win at the Oscar now that it has literally won every award this season. Heath Ledger won another award, and so did Kate Winslet, although at the Oscar she will have to compete in the lead actress category as she was not nominated in the supporting one. It wasn't as clear-cut when it came to the lead actress category. Mickey Rourke, who has garnered major buzz since the win at the Golden Globes, had to see Sean Penn nab the SAG from him for Mills.
Something happened to me during the making of this movie, and I noticed it tonight, where I noticed that the two statues have rather healthy packages.
And in a major upset in the lead actress category, it was Meryl Streep who took the SAG Award and now has put some major doubt as in what is going to happen at the Oscars.
Well, I didn't even buy a dress. I'm really shocked. And even though awards mean nothing to me anymore, I'm really happy.
The SAG Awards also honor achievement in television, as Mad Men was honored as Best Drama and Jon Hamm for Best Actor, and Sally Field won Best Actress for Brothers and Sisters. 30 Rock won Best Comedy Show, Best Actor for Alec Baldwin, and Best Actress for Tina Fey, who slipped something about the demands of the actors in their negotiations with the studios into her acceptance speech.
And I want to thank Alice for her patience. And someday she'll be old enough to watch 30 Rock reruns on the internet and understand where mommy was going at 6 a.m. every day for all that time, and she'll look up at me and say, "What do you mean you don't get residuals for this?"
So how does this play with the recent announcement of the Oscar nominations, Ron?
Well, Heather, you know, the Oscar nominations, we've been all waiting for them so much, and Benjamin Button, again, top nominee, 13, but has not won anything so far. So it's really interesting how it gets all those nominations. It got 13 nominations, almost topping the ultimate Oscar nominations, 14, which was in the past for Titanic and All About Eve. But of course, our favorite movie, and we're not hiding it, no. Slumdog Millionaire, 10 nominations, and it is the favorite one to win. But let's look at some of the kind of sidebars, the statistics that happened at the Oscar nominations. And of course, Meryl Streep tying her own personal record. She's now nominated 15 times in her career and is going down in the history books. The only two actors who have been nominated that many times were Jack Nicholson and Katharine Hepburn, 12 times.
But the Oscar, they seem to love Meryl Streep.
Well, you know, I still think that it's Kate Winslet who's going to go home with the Oscar.
But for the reader now?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah.
And of course, we have this whole posthumous thing this year, which is very prevalent with Heath Ledger winning all the awards. Only 6 actors in the Oscars history were nominated for posthumous Oscar, and only one, Peter Finch, in 1976 for Network, won the Oscar, but it was only within weeks after he passed away.
Yeah.
Heath passed away over a year, so it's interesting to see all that.
How much of that, though, do they kind of know ahead of time and plan, you know, as they're producing the show? I mean, obviously the presenters and everybody that's involved, and I mean, it has to be something that's a little bit preconceived.
Well, they're trying to write the script a long time ahead of time, but they keep changing it every day. As well into the Oscar day, it's being changed because they want it to be current, you know. So it's very important for them. And they have new producers, as of course we will see in the package that I have from the Oscar nominations. The award season has come to its climactic end with the Oscar nominations. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button with 13 nominations, Slumdog Millionaire with 10 nominations topped this year's nominations. And let's have a look at the other nominees this year.
I'm pleased to announce that the film selected as the Best Picture nominees for 2008 are The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Kathleen Kennedy, Frank Marshall, and Sean Chafin, producers. Frost Nixon, Brian Grazier, Ron Howard, and Eric Fellner, producers. Milk, Dan Jinks and Bruce Cohen, producers. The Reader, nominees to be announced. And Slumdog Millionaire, Christian Colson, producer.
And with this announcement, the final and most prestigious award in Hollywood has started its countdown to the biggest night of Tinseltown. So now it's time to find out what the experts think of what's in store for this year's Academy Awards.
No one really thought The Reader, which I like a lot, would get the support it did. Stephen Daldry, the director, was not in the Directors Guild lineup of 5 this year, and they say usually that's the best indicator of who will be up for Best Director at the Oscars. It wasn't true this year.
I think the biggest surprise of the morning was The Reader, that Kate Winslet was nominated for Best Actress in The Reader rather than Revolutionary Road. Now, can you imagine being at their house where her husband, who directed her in Revolutionary Road, is saying, "Congratulations, darling," and she's saying, "Honey, I'm sorry it wasn't for your movie." But we know if she wins, it really will be for both performances.
The Curious Case of Benjamin Button is classic Hollywood. It's what we've come to expect from the Academy. Slumdog Millionaire is new Hollywood, and it's what the Academy has been kind of becoming. So it's going to be a nice kind of headbutting going into Academy Awards Sunday. If I was going to bet on it, I might put my money on Slumdog Millionaire, although I sure loved Benjamin Button.
Well, I think this year it's a nice collection of movies that people have actually seen. Movies like WALL-E and The Dark Knight and Ben Button. These are huge box office movies that maybe last year you didn't really have when you're talking about There Will Be Blood and No Country for Old Men. So I think, you know, you have a collection of films that the audience at home can really identify with and say, oh, I remember when I saw that opening weekend, or I watched it recently on DVD. So I think this year you're going to have an Oscars that is a little bit more well received by at least the American movie-going public.
This year, the Oscars are getting a new producing team who promises to revamp the 81-year-old award show.
Well, as I say, pay attention to film history and film tradition, and yet shake it up a bit, and that's hopefully what we're doing.
Academy President Sid Ganis admits he still monitors carefully the negotiations between SAG and the studios, as a potential actor strike might have an impact on the Oscars too.
My speculation now, just based on what I've been reading and seeing lately, but no inside info, is that I think the Oscars are going to be okay, but who knows? You know, I don't know yet. You never know, but it's looking okay. I think it's looking good for our show.
And of course, without even giving out one award, there's one big winner already. Meryl Streep has been nominated 15 times in her career and has made history.
And now let's look back at the awards already given out, including the Golden Globes with Ron.
Well, we're backstage at the Golden Globes at the Beverly Hilton, and another big night for Slumdog Millionaire. Went home with 4 awards, and it is now sealed, almost sealed, nothing is sealed until the envelopes will be open, that this is going to be the big winner this year at the Oscars. So let's have a look at this year's Golden Globe winners. The red carpet was full of celebs: Rita Wilson and Tom Hanks, Leo DiCaprio, newlywed Beyonce, Sean Combs, Sally Field, Sandra Bullock, the royal couple of Hollywood, Brad and Angelina, Amy Adams, Pierce Brosnan, Penelope Cruz, Jennifer Lopez and Mark Anthony, Drew Barrymore, Eva Longoria, Mark Wahlberg, Dustin Hoffman with wife Lisa, Colin Farrell, Anne Hathaway, Adrian Garnier, Eva Mendes, the Jonas Brothers, Aaron Eckhart, America Ferrera, Alec Baldwin, Miley Cyrus, Steven Spielberg and Kate Capshaw, Tony Shalhoub and Glenn Close, Jeremy Piven with Mom Joyce, Susan Sarandon, Hayden Panettiere, Rainn Wilson, and Selma Hayek. And one name was mentioned over and over again:
Slumdog Millionaire.
Slumdog Millionaire. Danny Boyle.
Winning 4 awards, including Best Movie, Slumdog Millionaire dominated the Globes, closely followed by its TV counterparts, 30 Rock and miniseries John Adams, with 3 wins each. Mickey Rourke proved that he still got what it takes to reconquer Hollywood at 53 when he won for Best Actor for The Wrestler. British Sophie Hawkins and Irish Colin Farrell won for Best Actors in a Comedy. Heath Ledger continued his posthumous winning streak, winning for Best Supporting Actor. Waltz with Bashir sent good vibes to war-stricken Israel as it secured itself with this win an Oscar nomination. And Kate Winslet, who has lost 5 times at the Globes in the past, won not 1 but 2 awards for Best Actress Drama for Revolutionary Road and Best Supporting Actress for The Reader, as she wrote herself into the Hollywood history books. Meanwhile, backstage, the winners were saying all sorts of things to the media.
Oh, well, I had a funny experience with Angelina Jolie at the Broadcast Film Critics Award. I really wanted to go up to her and tell her how much I admire her and what a big fan I am, but I didn't want to seem like a creepy girl. So I was waiting for the right moment, and I was speaking to Simon's wife Jane, and I just stuffed my mouth with a pastry, And Angelina Jolie comes up to me and she says, "Great film." And I'm like,
It's strange, you know. Like I said, I was out of the game for so many years. It's something I really appreciate is the second chance to work again, and that was all about having people trust me again after, you know, raising hell for 15 years and doing everything the wrong way. And, you know, I think after about 10 years, I didn't think it was going to happen again, and I just kept trying to change and work hard and not, you know, slip back into my old ways. And so I appreciate it a lot because it's a profession where, you know, if you work hard enough and many years go by, you can get a second chance.
Well, I have to be really honest. The majority of the books that I read are children's books to my children. And so that's the type of reader that I am. And my relationship with literature is mostly built on making animal noises and doing silly voices for all the different characters in the story, developing a voice for the narrator of the story, and hopefully making the children laugh at the same time.
And on a personal note, I was extremely happy to see Israeli movie Waltz with Bashir win the Golden Globe after winning the Critics' Choice Award last week, which now means that it is most likely to be nominated for an Oscar, and who knows, maybe at the end of February go home with an Oscar all the way to Israel. The first award show of the season was, of course, the Critics' Choice Awards that kind of set the tone for the whole season. We're here at the 14th Critics' Choice Awards. The red carpet is swarming with big celebrities that are all going to enter the Civic Auditorium here in Santa Monica, where shortly the 14th Critics' Choice Awards is going to go live on VH1. Let's talk to some celebrities.
We call it, or Joey Berlin, the president, always refers to it as the New Hampshire primary of the awards season, and in fact, it sets the bar for what's to come.
What a lot of surprises tonight.
A lot of surprises, an exciting night, and even a tie.
Yeah, that rarely happens. We had Anne Hathaway, the young girl, and Meryl Streep, the veteran, win in the same category. And how poetic that they worked together. When Anne Hathaway went on stage, because Meryl Streep didn't show up, she started talking, and I'm like, yeah, it was only last year that they did The Devil Wears Prada together.
That's right, and also she did mention here backstage that Meryl Streep is one of her idols, one of her mentors, of course, and now they're going to be competing in the upcoming award show. Seems like the night is going to the underdog.
Five awards for Slamdog Millionaire this evening. That's pretty amazing.
It really is.
And you know, this, as we said in our show, this was the movie that almost did not happen, and this is now conquering Hollywood award after award. It's so amazing. You know, I'm in love with this movie. So
I am too. You know, when we first did the show, the award show, I hadn't seen it yet, and then after you talked about it, of course, I went. I'm in love too, and thanks to you, we're gonna get a one-on-one with the very.
Well, Danny promised me. I went to him before he got on stage and won the award. I said to him, Danny, this is going to be your night. If you're winning, I'm getting the first interview. And he said, Ron, if I'm winning, you're getting the first exclusive. So, Danny being the man of his word, he did it, and we got the first exclusive interview after Slamdog won 5 awards at the Critics' Choice Awards. I was a big believer of you from the get-go, right?
Yes, you were.
And I was on the show saying so, but now we're here, and it's 5 awards. How does it feel?
It feels, you feel kind of, all the sound in your head goes woolly when they call the name of the film. The one it didn't want was that there was a score, because I went like that for the score, because I wanted A.R. Rahman to win that score one so much. The others, you're blessed really if you win things, I think, because you can tell the standard is incredibly high.
What
and I think
happens
it'll do
to you when you go on stage? Is there a complete blackout, or what happens? I mean, you're standing there in front of a TV audience and all the people there.
With no teleprompter.
No teleprompter.
I know you try not to prepare anything because you think that's just tempting fate, you know, and then suddenly it's on you and you're kind of walking, and it sort of feels like it's sort of step motion, really. I couldn't stop looking at, when we got the Best Picture, I couldn't stop looking at Josh Brolin for some reason. You know, when you start looking at somebody, you keep looking at them. I don't know what he thought, but I kept looking at him. He was on the front table.
You said you did this because you're a dad and you have soft spot in you.
Oh, I do. I'm very, people imagine, because of some of the films I make, that because they're quite dark elements of them, that you might be cynical or cold. I'm not, actually. I cry at movies all the time. I'm a big weeper. No problem weeping in the cinema at all. I'm a sucker for it. I weep on the plane on the way over here. I tear up watching films, you know. I always try to make sure that the heart of the film, the emotion of the film is true, really. And I don't try to go for it cheaply, but I do try to go for it. And I do believe that film should have a big heart, really, rather than necessarily a big budget, you know.
Thank you so much for this movie. I really so appreciate it.
Thank you for this evening.
We'll cherish it forever and ever. Being a BFCA member, I'm one of the voting members who actually gets to decide the Critics' Choice Awards. It is a very interesting and kind of complex formula of how the whole process is going through. You get an empty page with 5 slots and you have to come up basically with names to fill in those different categories. And sometimes it's difficult to know who is a supporting actor, who is the lead actor, who deserves to be foreign movie, who doesn't. So you do your best and then you get the whole list of the nominees and eventually you get to vote from the 5 people that are nominated in each category. In between, you get to be invited to a lot of cocktails and meet the filmmakers and the actors and talk to them and get behind the scenes inside look of how it was to shoot those movies. And of course, the big bonus is we get DVD screeners, and that is all the movies, even before they hit the cinemas, we get them on DVD and I can watch them at home. That's a big bonus, and I've become very popular among my friends because of that.
And still to come, an inside look at where all the Oscar winners are headed after the awards are handed out.
And later I'll have my picks for who will be taking home the gold. It's all coming up right here. Stay with us.
Welcome back to our special awards show. Another awards show making a name for itself is the Spirit Awards.
Although the Spirit Awards are the before last to be handed out on February 21st, a day before the Oscars, they wanted to be the first one to catch the awards buzz and therefore announced their nominations for this year's awards already this week.
The nominees in the category of Best Feature are Ballast, Frozen River, Rachel Getting Married, Wendy and Lucy, and The Wrestler.
Leading the spirits this year are a trio of movies. Rachel Getting Married, about an addict whose homecoming for a sister's wedding causes upheaval. Frozen River, which follows a white woman and a Mohawk Indian woman drawn into smuggling on a reservation along the New York-Quebec borderland. And Ballast, a story of a single mother struggling to get by amid trauma and turmoil, each with 6 nominations. The acting categories are going to be the real battleground this year. Anne Hathaway for Rachel Getting Married and Michelle Williams for Wendy and Lucy, the one-time clean-cut studio movie girls, are going down and dirty at the Spirit this year in the Best Actress category, with Melissa Leo for Frozen River, Summer Bashir for Towelhead, and Tara Riggs for Ballast. Mickey Rourke, the one-time Hollywood bad guy, is making a remarkable comeback in The Wrestler, fighting it out in the Best Actor category with Oscar winner Javier Bardem for Vicky Cristina Barcelona, Richard Jenkins for The Visitor, Sean Penn for Milk, and Jeremy Renner for The Hurt Locker. The one movie who knows it's going home with a trophy is Sindochi, New York, Charlie Kaufman's directorial debut, which was selected this year's winner of the Robert Altman Award for Ensemble Film. To qualify for a Spirit Award, a movie must have cost less than $20 million to produce, with significant financing from independent sources outside the Hollywood studio system.
And don't go away, because after the break, we have details on the biggest awards show of the year.
Could there be some surprises at this year's Academy Awards? My predictions coming up, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
Well, Slumdog Millionaire seems to be the golden movie for the award season, but it's anyone's game for the Best Actress nominee.
Could it be now Taraji P. Henson's turn to go home with an Oscar? I got to speak with her at the Four Seasons Hotel hours after her first Oscar nomination. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Congratulations.
Thank
You're
you.
deserving a hug, right? How does it feel to be on top of the world?
Ah, you know that's the name of my corporation, On Top of the World, Inc. It's incredible. I can't stop gushing. I'm so honored. This is every actor's dream, and I'm a living testimony. And everybody that's on this journey today, everybody that got this call today, this is we're all a true testimony of how dreams do come true, and you have to dream. Everything starts with a dream.
You know, this movie has put you like into an A-list of Hollywood because, you know, you've been around, you've done stuff. I mean, people that flip on TVs have seen you around in shows and stuff. But this is now, your name is, everybody knows it. How does it feel?
It feels great. I hope everybody learning how to pronounce it. They know it, but sometimes I get a Tariji or Taharji, but it's okay. I'll answer to anything. It's exciting. Taraji is Swahili, and it means hope. Imagine that. Great year for hope. And my middle name is Swahili as well. It's Penda, and it means love, which Queenie embodies. And my last name, Henson, my great cousin was Matthew Henson, who discovered the North Pole. So my whole entire name has such a special meaning to me.
How does someone prepare for those award shows?
You hire a team to worry for you. I have a stylist. She goes out and gets me great dresses, and you know, I'm pretty easy when it comes to picking what I'm gonna wear, because it's all about comfort, especially a night like the Oscars. It's a long night, so comfort is at the top of my list. It has to be a dress that I feel comfortable in, I can move in and be me, my bubbly self, and I need shoes that I can stand up in all night. Hopefully I can wear a long dress, so by the time it's time to party, I can put flip-flops on and no one will ever know. So the dress will cover my feet.
Any hot date for the Oscars?
My mother. You know, my mom was a little more, she's a rational thinker. She came from the South with 8 kids when it was not nice to be, it wasn't so popular to be black in the South when she grew up. And you know, you didn't think of becoming an actor coming from where she came from. You get a job that you go to and you clock in at 9 and you leave at 5. You get that weekly check. So when I said actor, she was like, "You're gonna starve." Until she saw my first play, and then when she saw my first play, she was like, "Oh, she really could do something with this." And then when I told her I had to get a regular job, she was like, "But what about your acting career?" And I'm like, "Wait a minute, what about I'm gonna starve?"
Well, she's going to be a very proud mama that night, I'm sure of that. And we're very proud of you. Thank you so much. A pleasure talking to you. Congratulations. The first stop after the awards have been given out is the Governor's Ball. And I got a sneak peek at what it's going to be like, and more importantly, what's on the menu. And after all the awards have been given out downstairs at the Kodak Theater, everybody comes up here to the 5th floor to the Governor's Ball, which is the official after party, the hottest party in town. Everybody wants to get in, and there's only 1,500 tickets. Shelbourne Isaacs, who chairs the Academy's 2009 Governor's Ball, promises a toned-down event in the sign of the times.
So much that is, so many things are not complicated and not really expensive. It's really the creativity that counts. We all know that. You don't have to just ching, 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 ching to make something fabulous. And we've done that today.
Cheryl Chichetta, who celebrates her 20th year as event planner, has created an East meets West concept for this year's event.
But it's an Asian fusion. It's been fun and fabulous to incorporate so many wonderful Asian architectural details and concepts. It's an amazing marriage between a very modern overtone of color, but incorporating the really 5 feng shui elements inside the ball. You've got about 1,600 chairs, even though it's 1,500 guests. You have tables, you have about 123. Cutlery, you're close to about 10,000 when you count all pieces of cutlery. Glassware, you're close to about 5,000. You've got good 500 bottles of champagne, 500 bottles of wine. You've got 800 waiters. And, 800 staff, I would say, including waiters and security, entertainment, etc., etc. And I'll let Wolfgang give you the food ingredients.
Mark Held created the centerpieces.
Well, this year, it's really not about quantity. It's about design. We've done years where it's been about tons and tons of roses. That's not the mood that the U.S. is in this year, and I don't think that's the mood of the ball. I think it's more about design, style, tranquility, and we're using more important flowers, maybe not the huge quantities of them, but flowers that stand on their own, where people can sit at a table and say, "Gosh, that's a gorgeous orchid," rather than, How many orchids is that?
Everyone will get giggly with the uniquely created cocktail of the ball.
Yes, we have the Patron Gold Cosmo, which is Patron Silver. We have the Patron Citron Orange Liqueur, orange juice, and blackberry juice, and then some blackberries garnished.
If you're into more sophisticated wine, Sterling Winery has that especially for you.
So in preparing these wines, I'm looking for something that's special. I'm pouring my art for some of the best artists in the world that evening, so I want them to shine. And I'm also curious and concerned that these wines pair beautifully with what Chef Wolfgang Puck is producing. So I'm aware of his Asian theme in his meal this evening, or this year. And I want these wines to work with his foods.
And of course, no one is going to go home without the delicious food of Wolfgang Puck. That will include this year tuna tartare and sesame miso cones, chopped Chino Farms vegetable salad with ginger soy vinaigrette, Maine lobster and caviar, and of course the gold-dusted Oscar chocolates. And if you were not one of the lucky winners who went home with the real Oscar, you can always go home with a chocolate Oscar made by Wolfgang Puck.
Well, time now to put Ron on the spot, but you know what? You have been right. This entire award season, this is our third award show, and I have to give you credit. You really know your stuff.
Well, after a while you get a feel for it. So, okay, let's talk about my picks. So, Slumdog Millionaire is the one to beat. They have won all the awards so far, so I'm going for Best Picture, Slumdog Millionaire. Kate Winslet for The Reader as Best Actress, and Sean Penn for Milk, Best Actor. And my favorite director of all times, Danny Boyle, is going to take the Oscar all the way back home to London for Slumdog Millionaire.
And we really do love that film. I mean, we're not just saying that because he's a nice guy and we had a great interview, but if you haven't seen it, I've been telling everyone from my babysitter to the preschool teacher, go see it.
Yes, definitely.
It's a really feel-good movie.
And I think a lot of people would tune into the Oscars this year in order to see Slumdog win.
Yeah, I hope so. The underdog. Of course, they're not really the underdog anymore. They're the ones to beat. Thanks so much for joining us for our special 2009 award show. I'm Heather Dawson.
And I'm Ron Jacobsohn. See you next time.